Hey, good morning. So today it is Tuesday, May something, early on in May. Sorry, let me turn my do not disturb on. May 2nd, I believe. And I have definitely entered this week just feeling like a bit unsettled and a lot of overwhelm, despite feeling like I'm doing things right. I've did some things last week to take a hold of my time management because I was tired of that getting away from me. And everything in me this morning is like, you've got a long list of things you need to do. Everything is calendared and scheduled, and you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. But my body is not on board with this, right? Even though my brain is like, you've got things figured out, you have things on a calendar, you know what you need to be doing today. I feel like kind of a lump in my throat. I feel this sense of urgency, like it's not enough. And this kind of like churning in my gut that's like, you got to get started on your day. And it takes practice and skill to recognize like, I need to honor myself first. And I need to take care of this feeling and sync up body and brain because that's what is going to get me out of this state of overwhelm and working at my best kind of capacity here. So it's important to understand that when we're working towards something, it's okay if we feel uncomfortable. I have been able to kind of sit back and look at where I got here, and I did some time over the weekend really thinking about that. And one of my core values is simplicity for my life and in my business. And I can see where I kind of toppled out of that. It wasn't in the forefront of my brain. And so I started taking on a bit too much, and I started putting my attention other places. And now I just need to scale back. And in the scaling back, even though I'm going to eventually feel better once I really hone into my priorities and make the decisions that I need to get me back on track. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel more empowered. But right now, in making those decisions, I feel empowered, but I still feel like uncomfortable in learning or re-engaging with taking things off of my plate and letting simplicity rule. So I'm going to do some tapping on this. And if you have never heard of tapping before, no, I will not be tap dancing. You do not want to see that. But I will be using EFT emotional freedom techniques to help calm my central nervous system and kind of get my head and heart speaking the same language. So if you've never done this before, you can go ahead, tap along with me, but you might find the most benefit in going back and watching my very first video series, What the Fuck is EFT, and learning what this is all about and how it can help you, and then come back and watch this video and just tap along. A lot of times, whether you resonate exactly with my language or not, and you're feeling overwhelmed or you're just feeling anxious or unsettled, by tapping along with me, cueing into my words, my language, you'll feel a sense of peace, or you'll feel a sense of release or clarity. So feel free to tap along. Let me know if you have any questions. And as ever, reach out to me to see how working with me in my 6-month container can help you defeat some of this stuff and feel empowered to give yourself the space and grace to take a step back when you're in overwhelm, to be able to manage that. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the side of my hand. And I'm going to make a note of all the sensations that I feel in my body. So right now, that the feeling in my throat just from kind of talking some of this stuff out, even without tapping, has subsided. That might have just been related to the kind of nerves I always feel whenever I jump on doing a live, especially when it's kind of on the fly. But I'm really feeling like a tightness in my chest, like right in this area at about a 6. And I'm feeling like a lot of just kind of movement, unease in my stomach, probably at a 7. So I'll start with my setup statement, which we say 3 times. Even though I'm feeling all of this overwhelm, got so much stuff to do, and I'm not sticking to it right now because I'm choosing to take care of myself instead. And I know that this is what I need to do, but it's making me feel anxious because I'm not sticking to my schedule and I'm already overwhelmed. How will I get myself out of this? If I'm not putting check marks next to all the things that I need to do in the appropriate time. I feel it in my stomach, this churning sense of unease. And I feel this tightness in my chest. Right here, right now, I accept myself and I honor how I'm feeling. Even though I'm feeling all of this overwhelm. Now I'm feeling even more overwhelmed because I'm not sticking to my schedule. Because I'm stopping to take care of myself. And I feel it in my stomach. And I feel this tightness in my chest. Right here, right now. I accept myself and I honor how I'm feeling, even though I'm feeling completely overwhelmed. I feel it in my chest and I feel it in my stomach. I'm not sticking to my schedule. How will I get things done if I'm not doing things exactly as I laid out them to be today? And I know I need to take care of myself. It also feels really uncomfortable to put a pause in my plans for the day to stop and do this because it feels like it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel it in my chest, this tightness, and I feel it in my stomach. I feel it a little bit in my throat again. It definitely doesn't seem to be related to being on doing alive. Right here, right now, I accept myself and I honor how I'm feeling. Feeling all of this overwhelm. There's so much stuff I need to be doing right now. It's actually stuff I feel really excited about. And because I feel this excited about it, I don't know where to start. I can't decide which one's the most important. So I can feel like a piece of kind of clarity coming in that I didn't have before. In that this is about like not knowing where to start and feeling like there's some place to start that is right. So I'm feeling overwhelmed. Where do I start? I've got all these exciting things that I want to do. And I'm feeling so completely overwhelmed. I feel this unease in my stomach. And it's creating a lot of fog in my head. I don't know where to start. Even though I calendared all this stuff out, it feels like I don't know where to start. It feels like I have so many ideas that I want to take action on right now. And they all seem so important. And they all seem to be vying for my attention. I know that there's some decisions that I need to make. Ooh, that brought up like a wave in my stomach of that's it. And for me, as ever, it comes back to time management. When do I fit this in? How do I decide what's the most important to start with? What if I choose wrong and I start working on something else only to find out that one of the decisions on my list that I structured later, calendared for later, needed to be made first? I feel really overwhelmed thinking about it. Thinking about where to start and thinking about taking responsibility for being the one who makes that decision. It feels really overwhelming today. And I want to acknowledge that there's this fear that I'll waste a bunch of time because I started on the wrong thing, and that I'll have to start all over again if I do that. And so I feel it in my stomach, this sense of unease, thinking about taking responsibility for just making a decision and starting with the decision of where to start. And that feels uncomfortable. Thinking about where to start, thinking about getting it right feels really overwhelming. So I'm going to just pause for a moment, check in with myself. I definitely feel a drop. Um, so that feeling in my throat kind of keeps coming and going. In my chest feels better, but still probably about a 4. My stomach feels a lot better, probably about a 4 itself. And so my stomach was at a 7, right? So I'm just going to take a note, kind of like try to re-trigger myself, right? And see what comes up. So I'm going to look at my schedule. I'm going to let that first bit of overwhelm come back in. So sometimes, a lot of times, people are like, you look back down at the schedule, you feel the sensation of overwhelm coming back up again, and the thoughts start to crowd in. The thoughts assigning meaning to that sensation in your body, right? Oh, look, didn't go down. Something's wrong. There's a problem. So I like to think about just that being a wave. And how do waves work? They start building, 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 and then they crash and wash over you. So I'm just going to let that feeling kind of come. And I feel good with that. So if I didn't, I would just start another round of tapping. But because I feel really good, I'm just going to keep looking at my schedule, look at the time. And do another round because that sensation isn't coming up. So even though looking at my schedule, I'm still feeling this sense of overwhelm. Like I need to make different decisions. I need to start somewhere other than what I've committed to this week. And even though I'm feeling a sense of fear around that, that's where the fear is. I've committed to something this week. And I'm feel this fear, like what if I set my priorities wrong? Right here, right now, I accept myself and I honor how I'm feeling. So because I've done so much tapping with the setup statement and if that sensation has come down a bit, I'm just going to stick with one setup statement since I'm still along the same vein. So I'm still feeling this sense of overwhelm. thinking about decisions that I want to make, thinking about the commitments I've made for this week. Just acknowledging that now I can see that this fear is around sticking to those commitments and feeling as though maybe I got it wrong. And this feeling of getting it wrong is creating this sensation of overwhelm. Literally, I just felt a huge shift. That was it. That if I'm getting it wrong, then I'm going to waste a bunch of time not starting at the right place. But I feel everything in me. I'm only continuing to tap just because I like the way it feels. And I just want to kind of continue teasing this out. But everything in my body that I was feeling, it's at a zero now. And it's, I'm such a nerd. Like, I love this so much because no matter how many times I experience this, like, it's like a sunrise in Hawaii, like a spectacularly beautiful one. I never get tired of looking at them, just like with EFT, I never get tired of this absolute giddiness that I feel when I'm like, holy shit, this stuff works. So I feel completely settled in, I have the commitments I've made for this week. They're on the right track. I made them for a reason. And as long as I have my back in all of that, like nothing can go wrong this week. And the things that I was thinking about, I can just suddenly see so clearly where they can fit in the upcoming weeks. And so it just doesn't feel like a problem at all. And so because I have stopped to take care of myself in this way at the height of my discomfort, when everything in my brain was screaming, like for once my brain and body were kind of on board, because my brain is screaming like, nope, got to do these things. You've already figured it out, Jess, blah, 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 blah. And my body was just so uncomfortable with that. Being able to commit to first and foremost, part of my self-concept is I'm somebody who takes care of herself. And the more I take care of myself, the more my clients are taken care of, because I am able to have my mind and body settled so I can be at my utmost peak performance for them. And so I'm just going to stop now because I feel amazing. And there are things that I want to get done today. And so, and I've made a note here about when those decisions that I needed to make will get done. And actually, I've just made another decision of where it could be even easier for me to make those. And I'm feeling like I feel fantastic. So I just feel like everything is on track. I feel proud of myself for taking the pause and just committing to having my own back and taking care of me. No matter what is on my plate, I am the most important. So if this is something that you struggle with, please book a consult with me to see how working with me will help you build this muscle. So you never have to like muddle through. You always know when to take a step back, take care of yourself first, because that's going to have the greatest impact on your clients if you're an entrepreneur, your family, your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers. The more you give yourself permission to take care of you and you model that for other people, you're teaching people how to treat you. You're building your own self-trust and self-compassion. And when you have that rock solid foundation of self-care in that way, you're able to do anything for the rest of your life. So book a consult, sign up for my mailing list to make sure you never miss one of these videos, because I do send those out, alerting my subscribers to come out and watch these. And if you have any feedback, please feel free to let me know. Or if you have any questions on, or you want any demonstrations on other types of emotions or how to use EFT, please let me know. Have a wonderful day. I am off to commit to the rest of my calendar.